people, and welcome to the Counterfactual Stories YouTube channel. Today, we will talk about one of the chess legends, the US chess champion from 1909 to 1936, and one of the world's strongest chess players in the early part of the 20th century, Frank Marshall. But before we start, as always, don't forget to press subscribe button. Marshall was born in New York City and lived in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, from age 8 to 19. He began playing chess at the age of 10 and by 1890, age 13, was one of the leading players in Montreal. He won the 1904 Cambridge Spring International Chess Congress, scoring 13 out of 15, ahead of the world champion Emmanuel Lascar, and the US Congress in 1904, but did not get the national title because the US champion at that time, Harry Nelson Pillsbury, did not compete. In 1906, Pillsbury died and Marshall again refused the championship title until he won it in competition in 1909. In 1907, he played a match against world champion Emmanuel Lascar for the title and lost 8 games, winning none and drawing 7. They played their match in New York City, Philadelphia, Washington DC, Baltimore, Chicago, and Memphis from January 26 to April 8, 1907. In 1909, he agreed to play a match with the then young Cuban chess player Jose Capablanca, and the most people surprised lost 8 games, drew 14 and won only 1. After this defeat, Marshall did not resent Capablanca. Instead, he realized the young man had immense talent and deserved recognition. The American champion worked hard to ensure Capablanca had the chance to play at the highest level of competition. Marshall instead that Capablanca be permitted to enter the San Sebastian tournament in 1911, an exclusive championship promising to be one of the strongest yet in history. Despite much protest at his inclusion, Capablanca won the tournament. Marshall finished 5th at the St. Petersburg tournament in 1914, behind world champion Lascar, future world champion Capablanca and Alekhine, and former world championship challenger Tarrasch, but ahead of the players who did not qualify for the final: Osip Bernstein, Rubinstein, Nimzowitsch, Blackburn, Janowski and Gunsberg. According to Marshall's 1942 autobiography, which was reportedly ghostwritten by Fred Reinfeldt, Tsar Nicholas II conferred the title of Grand Master on Marshall and the other 4 finalists. Chess historian Edward Winter has questioned this, stating that the earliest known sources that support this story are Marshall's autobiography and an article by Robert Louis Taylor in the June 15, 1940 issue of The New Yorker. In 1915, Marshall opened the Marshall Chess Club in New York City. In 1925, Marshall appeared in the short Soviet film Chess Fever in a cameo appearance along with Capablanca. In 1920, he won the American Chess Congress. In 1922, Marshall played 155 games simultaneously at the National Club in Montreal, Canada, a world record. He scored 126, 21 draws and 8 losses in just over 7 hours. 1 week later, when Marshall returned to New York, he replayed every single move of each games he was able to remember, 154 of the 155 games. In the 1930s, Marshall captained the US team to 4 gold medals at 4 chess Olympiads. During one round, he returned to the board and found that his teammates had agreed to 3 draws. After he finished his own game, he gave each of them a stern talk, individually on how draws do not win matches. In 1936, after holding the US Championship title for 27 years, he relinquished it to the winner of Championship tournament. The first such tournament was sponsored by the National Chess Federation and held in New York. The Marshall Chess Club donated the trophy, and the first winner was who else? Samuel Reshevsky. Marshall was best known for his great tactical skill. One aspect of this was the Marshall swindle, where a trick would turn a lost game around. Andrew Soltis writes that in later years his prowesses at rescuing the irreversible took on magical proportions. Not so well known now, but appearance in his day was his endgame skill. Frank Marshall has a number of chess opening variations named after him. Two gambit variations that are still theoretically important today are named after him. One is the Marshall attack in the Ruy Lopez. Marshall's first well-known game with this opening was against Jose Capablanca in 1918, although Marshall had previously played it in other games that did not gain widespread attention. Even though Capablanca won in a game widely regarded as a typical example of his defensive genius, Marshall's opening idea became quite popular. Black gets good attacking chances and scores close to 50% with the Marshall, an excellent result for a black. The Marshall attack is so respected that many top players often choose to avoid it with anti-Marshall variations such as at 8 move to play a4. During his early career, Marshall was primarily known as a colorful tactical player in the Morphy tradition. When playing the white pieces, he normally used e4 openings such as King's Gambit and Vienna Gambit. As black, he favored the Albin counter gambit as an answer to the Queen's Gambit. By the 1920s, most elite chess players had switched entirely to d4 openings and a more positional style of play, and Marshall changed his playing style to adapt to the times. In his later years, he often used the Caro-Kann defense and Indian defenses. An important gambit in the semi-Slav defense is also named after Marshall. That Marshall gambit, the main line saves the pawn but not considered so dangerous with sharp and unclear play. Another opening name after Marshall is the Marshall defense to the Queen's Gambit. It is generally considered inferior to the Queen's Gambit declined, Slav defense and Queen's Gambit accepted. One of his very favorable quotes is, "The hardest thing in chess is to win a one game." I hope you liked this episode. Don't forget to press subscribe button and see you very soon. Bye.